Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 10 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Wayne County where a student was caught with a gun on a high school campus. On March 4th, Eastern Wayne High School administrators were informed that a student was possibly carrying a gun on campus. Now administrators reported the tip to the school resource officer. The student was searched and administrators found the gun in the student's coat pocket. Officials say the school resource officer seized the gun and arrested the student. The 15-year-old was taken to the Pitt County Juvenile Detention Center. The student was charged with the following: possession of a weapon on campus or other educational property, carrying a concealed gun, alteration, destruction, or removal of a serial number from a firearm, possession of a firearm with a serial number removed, and minor in possession of a handgun. Now, the sheriff's office says that due to the student's age, no other identifying information will be released. The sheriff's office says it continues to work closely with the Wayne County schools to ensure the safety of its students and staff. Now, we also want to turn our attention to a shooting investigation that is underway in Elizabeth City. At around 10:20 p.m. this past Friday, Elizabeth City officers received a call about a shooting on the 1100 block of North Road Street. They learned that a man had been shot in the ankle and was taken to the Centera Albemarle Medical Center. Police have yet to release information on whether a suspect has been arrested. Anyone with information on this case should call Elizabeth City Police at 252-335-4321. You can find that number there at the bottom of your screen. And now for a look at your forecast. It's not a bad day today. We're looking at a little bit of cloud cover early on. Not to worry, those clouds will be burning off as we head into the afternoon. In fact, looking at air temperatures this afternoon, going to get back into the low 80s. After yesterday, it was more the upper 70s. Still, about 15 to nearly 20 degrees warmer than our seasonal average. Today, we're going to be just a few degrees warmer. So if you're a fan of the warm weather, enjoy this afternoon. We're going to be even hotter, though, coming up for tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we've got a cool down on the way. But currently looking at 62-degree air temperatures in New Bern along the Neuse River. Calm winds did lead to, again, some patchy fog early on this morning. That fog has since lifted throughout most of eastern North Carolina. Currently seeing 64 degrees in Greenville with a south-southwesterly breeze at 5 miles an hour. And there again, you can see visibility returning to normal. Normal is 10. Those are 10 miles. That's visibility distance, how far you can see without any disruptions. So a little bit of a reduced visibility in Kenansville as well as Beaufort, but we really only see the slowdowns on the roads really occurring when we get to 1 mile visibilities or less. That's when it gets dangerous on the road. So for now, things again are looking pretty good in terms of visibility. Air temperatures, though, on their way up. Right now, low to mid 60s throughout most of the east. Roanoke Rapids showing up at 57 degrees, but winds still variable, coming in at a very light 3 to 6 miles per hour. Later on today, we're likely again going to be getting into the low 80s, and we'll hang on to the low 80s all the way until we get to around 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. At that point, we will start to cool down into the upper 70s by 7, mid 70s by 8, low 70s between 9 and 10 p.m. And then we're back into the upper 60s by 11. Low 60s will greet us as we wake up early on tomorrow morning. As we head towards noon, lunchtime, 80 degrees. Going to be pretty toasty tomorrow. Do want to say good morning to Esmeralda. Thank you so much for tuning in from Chinquapin. Hopefully you're having a fantastic start to your Tuesday there in Duplin County. 83 degrees tomorrow at 1 p.m. turns to 85 by 2, 86 between 3, 4, and 5 p.m. Note the winds. Winds tomorrow are going to be noticeably stronger than what we're going to see today. Because winds are still going to come in out of the southwest, we're going to kind of translate that increase of wind speed into temperature gain. But let's talk about the incoming frontal boundaries again that are going to be most likely adjusting people's plans if you've got anything going on really on Thursday, because that's when we're going to have a front move into eastern North Carolina and then through eastern North Carolina. Here you can see it starting to again approach the east. The good news is that that area of low pressure is going to be moving north of Atlanta. It's going to run into the mountains and really reduce its strength profile before it actually reaches us here in the east. But zooming the picture in, you can see that line of storms approaching. Now, it gets a little bit more broad as it moves across the east. That is good news. The more concentrated a frontal boundary is, the better opportunity it has to create lift. And lift is what powers those strong to severe storms. With this broad extension of rain, rain showers coming down from the triangle, extending all the way out into past the Outer Banks, into the open water of the Atlantic, that's a fairly broad front, and that again is really going to limit our exposure to severe storms. So very good news there. Does not look like we're going to be seeing anything severe across eastern North Carolina as that frontal system moves through. Now, for those of you watching closer to the Virginia line, you may be seeing what I'm seeing right now and say, "Oh, Charlie, is that a chance of snow for Roanoke Rapids?" Most likely not, but could you end up possibly seeing some flakes fall down? There is that possibility. Now, speaking of cold temps and, well, potential for snowfall, I don't think we're going to get snow, but coming up next week, it is going to be getting noticeably colder. Over the weekend, we're going to be in the low 70s on Saturday, mid to upper 70s on Sunday, and then Monday into Tuesday, mostly on Monday, we will see another cold front roll in. That is going to knock air temperatures down significantly, going from the low 70s on Monday to the upper 40s on Tuesday. That's about 12 degrees below our seasonal average. So if you're wondering, okay, are we done with winter? It's feeling pretty warm out, 87 degrees on Wednesday. Not quite just yet. Pump those brakes. It does look like, again, we could be in for another potential freeze coming up next Tuesday night into Wednesday. Not this week, but next week. Well, that's all we have time for today's 10 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday.